Today, we're attempting a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Platinum the way God intended, as a fear-mongering villager from Salem, Massachusetts circa 1692. That means that in addition to the hardcore Nuzlocke rules, I'll only be able to catch Pokemon that I think would be tried for witchcraft during the Salem witch trials, forcing them to prove their innocence as we travel through Sinnoh, purging all the evil within. To start, I choose a Chimchar named the Inquisitor, the perfect Pokemon to cleanse the region with holy fire, starting with our rival Salem's Piplup. The first potential witch we encounter is a Bidoof. Bidoof learns Surf, and as tradition dictates, if it floats, it's a witch, so we arrest him immediately. At Verity Lakefront, we encounter an unassuming Starly and bid him farewell before encountering a second Starly with one key difference. The next encounter is an intimidating female Shinx. Now, I don't know about you, but when a woman makes me feel intimidated, there can only be one explanation. It couldn't be that I'm insecure. And our final encounter in this area is a Kricketot. Kricketot itself may not seem suspicious, but the same can't be said of its evolution. Just listen to this sound.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you.
We defeat Salem once again, only using the same amount of effort it takes to like and subscribe, and then are just barely unable to detain an Abra before it escapes. Soon after, we encounter a male Psyduck. It may surprise you to know that Salem was rather progressive for its time. A whole 25% of people tried for witchcraft were men. How's that for gender equality? With this being the case, Psyduck has been observed to have some weird brain powers going on, so we have no choice but to detain him as well. Our next two witches are a Machop and an Onix. As every 17th century scientist knows, womens don't have muscles, which means this Machop must be a muscle witch. As for Onix, witches use crystals all the time, and a rock is basically a crystal. Rourke has also been seen mining for crystals, and as we've just established, that's a surefire sign of a witch, so we assemble a team of witches and head into the Orberg Gym. Magic makes short work of Geodude and Onix, but is unable to one-shot Cranidos, so I switch into Scary for her powers of intimidation, then send Muscles in to kick rocks, defeating Rourke and cleansing the first of many gyms. On the way to Eterna City, we encounter a woman that can somehow see despite not having eyes, probably because she sold her soul to a demon. We cleanse the Valley Windworks of Team Galactic and their ugly cat, and run into a female Shellos who was just kinda standing outside. The next witch we encounter after this is a male Baneri in Eterna Forest, and I feel the need to explain this one. A Baneri will eventually grow to become a Lopunny, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with a beautiful woman. But a beautiful man? Giving me impure thoughts? Gotta be witchcraft. Couldn't be anything else. While doing Arceus' work in Eterna Forest, tragedy strikes. The opponent's Pachirisu starts using Bide, and it looks like we'll be able to kill it before it can finish, but Cheryl decides it's more important to have her Chansey cure itself of poison, letting Pachirisu survive its second turn. I decide that of the witches gathered here today, Floats is probably the one who's done enough to have his sins forgiven, so I put him on the front lines where Pachirisu sends him to heaven. Or wherever else he ended up. Breaking through to the other side of the forest, we detain a wicked plant golem and an ugly psychic child. We then burn our way through Eterna City's gym and reach Gardenia, the abhorrent gardener herself. I send Woman out first so she can prove herself, but she fails to take Turtwig out before it can set up Reflect. With a misclick from me and a heal from Gardenia, Turtwig's able to summon the Light of the Inferno for Cherim, who begins to drain Woman's life force with plant magic. Woman is able to take her down after the Reflect fades, but must trade places with Demon Eyes, who easily takes Roserade down, purging Eterna City of the first of its two sources of evil, the second being the Galactic Headquarters, which is also cleansed without incident. As a reward, Cynthia gifts us an egg that hatches into another egg. Truly horrifying. We find 4 more Agents of Evil on the way to Hearthome City. A horse wreathed in hellfire, a possessed mirror, a really loud bell, and another psychic child, all 4 of whom are immediately detained. Hearthome City Gym has the most blatant display of darkness and devilry by far, but the trainers here are still no match for our righteous might. We make our way to Fantina and lead with Demon Eyes, taking out her Duskull without taking any damage. Miss Magius comes in, and I'm confident that Demon Eyes can tank a hit from Psybeam, which she does, retaliating with Confuse Ray this turn and a critical hit bite on the next. Haunter can't do much against Woman, and Fantina's haunt of Hearthome is violently ended. Before I head out to the next gym, I realize that I forgot to cleanse the evil from the old chateau and capture the evil spirit residing inside. I use that spirit to once again thwart Salem's pitiful attempts at combat and continue onward, capturing 2 more spirits and a letter of the alphabet. I would tell you which one, but I can't read. Considering I condemned Fantina for using evil spirits, I feel the need to defend myself. You see, the difference here is that I'm the one using them. Hope that clears it up. We also encounter this little guy, who would ordinarily be cleared of suspicion, but in the future, it's revealed that he's been a fairy this entire time. And as any preacher from the 1600s can tell you, fairies are just demons in disguise, so into the pillory he goes. We make it to Veilstone City, home of Muscle Witch Maylene. Woman leads the charge against her and takes out her Meditite and a good chunk of Machoke's health before getting low on HP herself. I send out Plant and bring Machoke into the red. I expect her to heal here, but she doesn't, and her Machoke rips Plant apart with its incredible strength. Evil Spirit comes in to finish the job and faces off against Lucario. They hit Lucario with a Confuse Ray, and then I misclick Confuse Ray again. Twice. Oops. And then I lost the footage of the rest of the battle because I was so annoyed with myself that I paused the recording to take a break and forgot to unpause it when I came back. Here's an artist's rendition. With that mess of an Inquisition concluded, we continue to Pastoria, encountering some more demons along the way. We detain this dark beast, Sky Rat Demon, Murderous Vine, and this, before brushing Salem off once again and challenging Crasher Wake, the Muscle Witch of the Sea. Scary takes out Gyarados, and Crasher Wake sends in Quagsire, so we respond by sending in the Murder Vine. Learning from our past mistakes, we take time to set up with Stockpile and Ingrain, closing out the battle with ease. En route to the Canalave City Gym, we do battle with a 50-year-old, 27-year-old, and are accosted by a horrifying jelly demon, which we also detain. Arriving at our destination, Salem challenges us yet again and actually manages to put up a small fight before losing spectacularly once again. Byron, the Canalave City Gym leader, is the father of Crystal Boy from the first gym, so he's marked for purging simply by association. The Dark Beast makes her debut in battle and masterfully melts Magneton, and Fairy comes in to deal with Steelix. Canalave City is now down to its last Bastiodon, who falls to a single low kick from Muscles. Before continuing our crusade, we gather our strength at Iron Island, finding another crystal on the way, and then head back to the library to study up on local legends. This study session is interrupted by a massive explosion, which I personally am thankful for because I still don't know how to read. We head out to Lakes Valor and Verity in an attempt to prevent Team Galactic from capturing the spirits within, but are too late and depart for Lake Acuity, capturing this abomination of a snowman and 2 more women who were just kinda there. Before we can reach the lake, we make a quick stop to melt the Snow Witch Candace, who is no match for the purifying flames of the Dark Beast. Unsurprisingly, Salem is unable to stop Jupiter from capturing Uxie from Lake Acuity, so we're forced to infiltrate Team Galactic's hideout and put a stop to their plans. We confront the allegedly 27-year-old man from before, taking out Weavile and Crobat with Woman 4, then send in the Possessed for Honchkrow. Its HP gets slowly whittled down by Nightshade, so I send in Demon Eyes, but overestimate how much damage Fly will do and she dies to a Drill Peck. I guess she can join Floats wherever he ended up. We defeat Saturn again and release the captured lake spirits with the intention of hunting them down for sport later, then climb up Mount Coronet to deal with the minor annoyance of Team Galactic once and for all. Salem catches up with us just in time to be marginally useful against Jupiter and Mars, who we defeat with no losses on our part, though the same can't be said for Salem. Cyrus accidentally summons Satan, getting dragged through a portal to hell in the process, and we pursue him alongside Cynthia. Catching up, we challenge him to one last battle. The Inquisitor takes out Houndoom, Scary takes out Gyarados, and we send in the Possessed to face Weavile, but it dies to a critical Night Slash. This is unfortunate, but also I don't really care. The Inquisitor comes back in to finish Weavile off with a Mach Punch, and Cyrus sends in Crobat. Fairy's the most expendable at this point, and he dies to ensure a safe switch for Psychic 2, who sets up a Reflect and takes Crobat down with a critical Psychic. I think for a moment, and ultimately decide that this will be Psychic 2's first and last major battle, and let her die for the cause as well. Woman 4 defeats Cyrus's Honchkrow, condemning him to stay in the Distortion World for the rest of his days, and with him out of the way, we're free to confront the devil, taking it down, hopefully for good. With Team Galactic gone and the devil defeated, the only things left to do are purge the final gym and the Elite Four. Volkner has science machines in his gym, and science is bad, so we gotta take him out too, I guess. Woman 2 makes her battle debut and takes out Jolteon and Raichu, while Woman 4 takes out Electivire, and we send in the Boom Crystal to take out Luxray, simply because we can. That makes 8 gyms purged, giving us the right to challenge the Elite Four. But first, we have 3 brief errands to run. Azelf and Yuxi stay in their caves and are easily disposed of, but Mesprit flees, having been warned about the impending danger. Thankfully, the Dark Beast has picked up Mesprit's scent, and it's not long before Mesprit is put down just outside of the Lost Tower. And with that out of the way, we head to the Pokemon League, capturing a levitating metal ball and an ugly unicorn on the way. In one final act of annoyance, Salem wants to test our team again, and as usual, fails to do much of anything. It's finally time to challenge the Elite Four with a team consisting of the Inquisitor, Women 1, 2, and 4, the Dark Beast, and the Murdervine. Aaron's up first, and it only takes one look at his fashion choices to let me know that there's no soul worth saving here. Woman takes out Yanmega, and Woman 2 takes out Drapion, clearing the way for the Inquisitor to purge the remaining insects with his holy flamethrower. Bertha's up next, and we lead with the Murdervine, but it takes significant damage before taking Whiscash down. Gliscor comes in, and we swap to Woman 4, who barely misses out on a one-shot, but does still take Gliscor down. Woman 2 takes the field and defeats Golem and Hippowdon, and Rhyperior is finally sent out. I expect an Earthquake and swap to the Murdervine, but get hit with an Avalanche instead, and the Murdervine falls. Woman comes out to do what she can, and I expect her to fall to a Rock Wrecker or another Avalanche, but Bertha opts to use Megahorn instead, forfeiting any chance she had of winning. Flint's up next, and he bears an uncanny resemblance to a certain demonic clown, which marks him for purging as well. Woman 2 is able to one-shot Houndoom before it can set up a sunny day, and through a series of carefully calculated switches, even Flint succumbs to the flames. Lucian the Psychic is the final heathen we face in the Elite Four. We lead with the Dark Beast, who is unable to prevent Mr. Mime setting up a Reflect because of a speed tie, but thankfully is able to prevent a light screen. Woman comes in to deal with Gallade, but the Reflect prevents her from getting the kill with Brave Bird, and our second oldest companion is struck down in combat. Thankfully though, her death is not in vain, as the Dark Beast now has free reign to devour the remainder of Lucian's team. This victory leads us to the final step of our journey, Champion Cynthia. We've encountered her again and again in our journey, but only now are we ready to face her in all of her sickening power. Once defeated, the Sinnoh region will be cleansed of all evil, and our team will finally prove their innocence. This is the final trial. We once again lead off with the Dark Beast, maxing out her special attack with Nasty Plots, then one-shot both Spiritomb and Milotic. With her purpose fulfilled, Garchomp buries the Dark Beast with an Earthquake. Woman 4 comes out, taking Garchomp down with 2 Ice Shards, and Woman 2 comes in to take out Lucario. Roserade's the next to enter, and is subsequently burned to ashes by the Inquisitor. Togekiss enters the field as Cynthia's final Pokemon, and after some consideration, the Inquisitor selflessly decides to take the hit in defense of the team, sending him to an early retirement in the sky. Woman loses one final Ice Shard, and with that, we've defeated the final Agent of Evil, leaving the Sinnoh region fully cleansed. Well, almost. To be completely honest, I've only really seen a small number of the witches I've gathered in action, and even of the ones I've observed, I'm still not 100% convinced that they're innocent. So, to be safe, I head to Stark Mountain to have them tested in fire. You can never be too sure, after all. Thankfully, no one survives, leaving absolutely no doubt that the Sinnoh region is now 100% safe. Doing the Lord's work has never felt better.